Hello and welcome to another episode of Prayer and Petition, and today find us talking all about Brexit, British politics, and where exactly we find God in all of that. We're going to be taking a look at, Brexit and British politics, and that sounds a little bit out of place, but I think really what we need to, unless you've been living under a rock for the last few years, then the term Brexit is one that should be at least familiar. It's definitely a household term by this point. And I think certainly as we see the news and as we see the political climate in Great Britain on the rise, it's so important to actually, I feel, to be bringing God into this situation. Now, I want to actually read a prayer. I'll read a prayer. And if there's any of you, some of you out there might actually know this, especially if you're particularly in touch with British politics. But let's just take a read of this. Lord, the God of righteousness and truth, grant to our Queen and her government, to members of Parliament and all in positions of responsibility, the guidance of your Spirit. May they never leave the nation, may they never lead the nation wrongly through love of power, desire to please, or unworthy ideals, by laying aside all private interests and prejudices. Keep in mind their responsibility to seek to improve the condition of all mankind. So may your kingdom come and your name be hallowed. Now, that prayer is actually read at the start of all parliamentary sessions and has been done so since around 1558. And it's interesting, isn't it, when you hear that? And we certainly all have those stereotypes of what politicians are like. And what I certainly don't want to do in this video is offend anyone with those stereotypes, because we know that a lot of them aren't true. There are politicians that serve in the government that are looking to do everything that is there in that prayer, and ultimately to bring about the betterment, to improve the conditions of all mankind. However, what we can see as well alongside that is certainly people and politicians that will act in their own interest or in the interests sometimes of their party, which don't align with what is in that prayer. And when we look specifically at Brexit, we see this mess, I guess, is the word to use, with continual extensions leading up now to the end of this month, to October 31st, when we will, unless there's another extension which doesn't look like the EU will permit, on October 31st we will leave the European Union without a deal, if there isn't one that is put in place. And Parliament and indeed the people have repeatedly said that they are not happy with the deal that Theresa May originally put forward, and therefore the current Prime Minister Boris Johnson is having to, firstly he was looking to prorogue Parliament, and I don't want to go too heavy into the politics of this, that's not what this video is about, but ultimately Boris Johnson was looking to suspend Parliament up to a point where it would then be too late for the House of Commons to agree on any kind of deal or vote on any kind of litigation. So instead, Boris was looking to suspend Parliament so that basically the House of Commons wouldn't be able to make any votes, and then it would force Britain to essentially leave the EU. The Supreme Court unanimously decided that was actually not legal for him to do. It was not democratic, and as such after the resignation, the announcement of John Bercow, the Speaker's resignation, because of primarily his family and his family commitments, but also because of what was going on in the government at the moment, has decided that on that basis, and because of the mess that is happening currently in Parliament, that he would leave, which really is just to sum up where we're at the moment, when even the Speaker of the House decides that they want to leave their position. Like I said, undoubtedly, primarily because of his family, but also because of the situation of this government at the moment. And to me, this just leaves me continuously with that question of, well, where is God in this? And as we can, objectively, God is at the start of every parliamentary session. But how much further is his influence allowed to go in these politicians' lives, and particularly the ones that are leading this country forward? Yeah, because that's what really matters when we look at the leaders of this country. When we look at Boris and his cabinet, we look at them and we think, well, where is God in that? Is God there? And sometimes it can leave us with those questions just hanging in the air. So what I would encourage, the main point of this little video, is that if you are watching this and you are a believer in God, and you believe in the works that he can do, then I would encourage you to pray. If you are within Great Britain, then obviously this really is gonna hit home, and I would encourage you to pray with me for our country. If you are outside of the UK, then again, I think we all within would really appreciate your prayer at this time, because ultimately we don't know what's going to happen. If we do leave the European Union without a deal, then our economy is predicted to suffer potentially quite heavily. And there's already been, we've seen some of the fear mongering already in the newspapers about supermarkets having to stockpile. And like I said, I use the word fear mongering there because I am sure that it will be fine and that there will be a plan in place. However, sometimes the tabloids and the newspapers can put people in a position where they panic unnecessarily. And these are things that we need to pray for, and these are things that will affect our neighbouring countries, as there is that increased demand, and they will feel the ramifications of that and that increased need. So I really do. This is more of a plea. You pray for our country, and you pray specifically for our politicians. As we're going to finish, if you do want to join me, I'm actually going to finish with this prayer. This prayer said at the start of the parliamentary session. So if you want to join me for this, you'll be absolutely honoured. Lord, the God of righteousness and truth, grant to our Queen and her government, to members of Parliament and all in positions of responsibility, the guidance of your Spirit. May they never lead the nation wrongly through love of power, desire to please, or unworthy ideals, but laying aside all private interests and prejudices, keep in mind their responsibility to seek to improve the condition of all mankind. So may your kingdom come and your name be hallowed. Amen. So, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me by Prayer and Petition. I am going to probably look to do a few more episodes like this where we reach out in faith and we reach out to God about some of the current situations that are going on in the world. We see so much just things that go wrong in our world, and it's so important as brothers and sisters in Christ that we kind of come together, I feel, and spend some time to pray together. And thankfully, because of the internet, we have a wonderful way to be able to do that. So if you do want to get involved, you can head down to the comment section below. You can post your comments, and I would absolutely love to be able to interact with you guys and to have that conversation. You can also head over to the website prayerandpetition.uk. You can head over to our prayer wall there as well if it is that you do want to pray indeed about this situation that we're talking about today, or even something more personal in your lives. I and other members of our team will be there to pray with and for you. But again, thank you very much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. God bless.